this morning, Larry Brown, the new SMU coach, went on the Dan Patrick Show and had some interesting things to say about his relationship with Michael Jordan when he was the head coach in Charlotte. Said there were some communication issues and he often found it difficult to work with the people around Michael Jordan. Do you want to expand upon that a little bit and what you heard, Stephen A. Smith, your reaction?
I have a very close relationship with Larry Brown. I've covered Larry Brown for 7 years in Philadelphia every single day. I love the man dearly, and I think he's one of the greatest coaches we've ever seen, and I'm happy he got the job at SMU. This is part of the problem why he doesn't have an NBA job, however, because he tends to say things that he should not say. He should not have said this because you've moved on to a different chapter in your life. Having said that, he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Didn't he go all the way to Michael surrounding himself with inferior people?
Well, I'm gonna take this a step further. Larry can't handle losing, like when you're hurting yourself. When you let go of the Tyson Chandlers of the world, Gerald Wallace's, other guys, you just strip Raymond Felton's. Rather, you're stripping him of the talent he had after he took him to the playoffs. But the biggest thing about it, the most compelling statement about Michael Jordan that he made was the people he surrounded himself with. Rod Higgins and Fred Whitfield. I'm not going to ever insult them by calling them incompetent or anything like that. That's not my place. I don't know that to be true. And I actually like them as guys, as men. But that's not why they're there. They're there because they're Jordan's boys.
Yeah.
And Jordan loves them. And that's Michael Jordan, the basketball icon, who has become an executive, not getting away from Michael Jordan, the basketball icon. You don't play anymore. You're not averaging 30. You're not winning world championships as a player. You are an executive, but Jordan doesn't know how to let that go because he believes that everywhere he goes, everyone wants to be invasive when it comes to his life. So the criteria for Michael Jordan, at least based on his hirings, one can surmise what that is. The criteria for Jordan is whether or not he trusts you, not whether or not you are competent enough to do the job. And those are the kind of things that everybody, not just Larry Brown, but a lot of people, even within the North Carolina family, the NBA family, who are very tight with Michael Jordan, they love Michael Jordan. They'll swear by him. I love Michael Jordan. I believe I owe Michael Jordan the career I have, because what he has done as a basketball icon is just immeasurable for all of us who love the NBA. But the problem with Michael Jordan is Michael Jordan won't fall back and hire the best basketball people and the best basketball minds. His whole thing is about insulating himself with people he trusts will protect him, as opposed to people he knows can do the job. And that's why Charlotte this year is, awful beyond words that I can even come up with.
Maybe the worst ever.
They may be the worst basketball team I have, and they have talent, but in terms of piecing it together, they may be the worst team that I have ever witnessed. And God bless Paul Silas, and I have respect for him, and I'm sorry to see him in that position. But I don't care how much love and respect I have for Paul Silas. There is no coach on this planet Earth that should have the license to take off a few games so his son can coach the team. It's just a walking abomination of basketball in Charlotte right now. It's that simple.
I covered Michael Jordan, got to know him in Chicago, as you well know. I love Michael Jordan.
Love him.
Love him as a guy, love him as a performer. Greatest performer in any sport ever.
Ever.
Worst NBA GM ever. Because of what you're saying. Except not only does he surround himself with yes men, Michael's had final say on every pick, every personnel move that has been built into this roster, all the way through last year, Bismack, Biyombo, Kemba Walker. These are Michael's fingerprints all over this franchise. All the way back to Adam. He picked Adam Morris.
I was getting ready to bring that up.
Adam Morris in the first round.
Well, everybody, I bring up Kwame Brown.
Kwame Brown. That was back
with the number 1 overall pick. He passed up on Pau Gasol. But I thought he couldn't do any worse. I said he can't top this.
Yeah.
But he picked Adam Morrison over Brandon Roy. Now, anybody who knows basketball knows you picked Adam Morrison because you were in the Bible Belt, which is Charlotte, North Carolina, and you're thinking about the crowd, and you picked somebody that you thought they would gravitate to for certain reasons, as opposed to a better basketball player. But then he outdid himself. The boy turned around and gave Tyus Thomas $40 million.
He did.
Tyus Thomas, $40 million. $40 million for Tyus Thomas. I mean, my Lord.
And then he tried to push Paul Silas in the locker.
And the only noteworthy thing he has done in a Charlotte Bobcats uniform is get into a fight with a man almost 40 years older than him. I mean, just
Who can whip him?
I just don't understand it.
Yeah.
I just can't understand it. Now, this is Michael Jordan. So at the end of the day, it comes down to somebody getting in Michael Jordan's ear, and I'm trying to right now, and saying, bro, you're the greatest who ever played. You know that you surround yourself with people who insulate you and not necessarily the greatest basketball people. Fix it, please, because it is beyond embarrassing.
If I can, Larry Brown's comments continued. He went on to say it was almost like there were spies wondering what you were doing, and it was getting back to him. I do see a passion there, and I think he's just hurt right now.
He is hurt, and that's an accurate statement, but I want to emphasize, I'm not advocating the Fred Whitfields or the Rod Higgins need to go. That's not what I'm saying. There's a place for everybody. All I'm trying to say is that he didn't hire them because, oh, these are the best minds. We don't know that. We know that they are tight with him, that they will walk through fire for Michael Jordan. That is not a reason to employ people in those decision-making positions.
Yeah.
That is not a reason.
And by the way, Larry Brown, who I think is the greatest combination college pro coach ever, did a really nice job at Charlotte given what he had to work with.
Yes.
He did.
He did a very nice job. And we don't even know. I shouldn't say Fred Whitfield because we don't know what role he's playing. No, Rod Higgins, that's different. It's GM, but Fred Higgins, we don't know what it is. But just his friends, enough of that. Let me tell you something right now. I got a lot of friends. They ain't writing for me. They're certainly not coming on this show for me. They're not doing anything for me. They're home. I'll hang out. I'll see you this weekend, okay? There's a place and time for these for guys. And Michael Jordan doesn't seem to know that.
We had a discussion about it earlier this week about it potentially hurting his legacy. Does it at all?
Yes, it does. You know why? Because your legacy, first of all, your legacy is what it is. Nobody could ever tarnish it. We should say history, okay? Your legacy, however, to me, what do we think about when your name comes up? Once upon a time, it was the greatest player who ever played the game. Now there's an asterisk next to that little note because you might be the worst as an executive if you don't turn this around. When did you ever think you would associate the word worse with anything pertaining to Michael Jordan, who is the greatest player I have ever seen with my own two eyes? But what's going on in Charlotte, I mean, damn, a case could be made. People need to get their money back. I mean, it's just bad. It's just bad.
57 record and in jeopardy of being the worst team ever in the NBA.